Disclaimer. This story contains mature themes intended for adult viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. The hum of the washing machine filled the cramped laundry room, vibrating softly under my hands as I leaned over the drum, sorting clothes. I could feel the warmth of the room, the faint scent of detergent, the cold metal beneath my palms. And then he was there, so close I could feel his presence before I even turned. I stiffened. His fingers brushed my arm as he passed behind me. A touch so light it could have been accidental. But I knew better. I always did. My heart thumped in a rhythm that matched the machine's spin. Faster, uneven, a little reckless. The smell of him, faint cologne, something earthy, intimate, made the back of my neck tingle. "I didn't expect you here," I murmured, barely above a whisper, my voice catching. "Maybe you did," he said softly, leaning close enough that I felt the heat from his chest against my back. He didn't move my hands, didn't speak too much, just lingered there, letting the tension stretch long and tight between us. Every so often, the brush of his hand against mine sent a shiver down my spine, and I hated how much I wanted him to notice. I shifted, trying to focus on the clothes, the mundane task. But I couldn't. He was too close. His fingers grazed the curve of my waist, brushing under the hem of my dress. My breath hitched, short and uneven, as my body betrayed me with every subtle move. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, just the laundry, just heat and proximity. He tilted his head, watching me. Eyes dark, intent, unreadable. There was a pause, a space filled only by the washing machine's rhythmic churn that seemed to stretch forever. I felt seen in a way that was almost frightening, exposed and craved at the same time. Then, a shift. His hand moved lower, the touch deliberate, and I froze, caught between wanting to pull away and something far more dangerous. Wanting him closer, wanting the heat, the forbidden closeness. The machine shook beneath my hands. I swallowed hard, eyes wide, lips slightly parted. And just like that, everything changed. I didn't move, I didn't speak. And neither did he. Only the washing machine kept spinning. The hum of the washing machine seemed louder now, each spin echoing in the tiny room like a heartbeat I couldn't ignore. He stayed behind me, impossibly close, his warmth pressing into the curve of my back. My hands hovered over the clothes, but I couldn't focus. Every accidental brush, every slight movement from him sent jolts through me I wasn't prepared to name. A stray thread caught on my fingers. He reached forward, ostensibly to help, but his touch lingered too long, brushing against my palm with an intensity that made my chest tighten. My breath hitched before I could stop it. Are you cold?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly, betraying the calm I was trying to maintain. "Not at all," he murmured, and the words felt loaded, weighted. He leaned a little closer, his chin brushing the back of my neck, his breath warm there. I swallowed, my pulse racing. There was something hypnotic about the way he watched me without really looking, like he was memorizing every little movement, every subtle reaction. I tried to shift, to put a little space between us, but my body betrayed me, leaning in without thinking. His hand moved, just slightly, along my side, grazing the skin of my hip. I tensed, every nerve alive, yet I didn't pull away, couldn't, not fully. A quiet laugh escaped him, soft, almost apologetic, and it made me tremble. My lips parted as if to say something, anything, but the words got caught in my throat. Instead, I felt him brush a finger against the hem of my dress. My stomach fluttered with a heat I could neither deny nor name. The spin of the washing machine seemed to mirror the spinning in my chest, chaotic and relentless. Every accidental touch, his hand lingering too long, the brush of his shoulder, felt deliberate, almost cruel in its restraint. My mind screamed to stop, but my body was aching to move closer, to respond, to let go in a way I wasn't supposed to. I caught his gaze in the reflection of the stainless steel drum, intense, unflinching. The unspoken invitation was clear. One step, one small surrender, and the room would shift entirely. A shiver ran down my spine as his hand traced the curve of my waist once more. I was trembling and he could feel it, and just as I thought I might finally speak, finally move, the washing machine shuddered violently. My hands gripped the edge, and our eyes met, wide and unblinking. Something was about to cross the line. The vibration from the washing machine pulsed through me, matching the tremor in my hands as I tried to steady myself on the edge of the drum. He was closer now, impossibly close, so that I could feel the warmth radiating from his body, hear the quiet intake of his breath. Every subtle movement, the way his shoulder brushed mine, the almost imperceptible tilt of his head, made my stomach coil and my chest ache. "I shouldn't," I whispered, but my voice sounded small, weak, and unconvincing even to me. He didn't answer. He just leaned closer, letting his forehead rest near mine, so close that our breaths mingled. I could feel the tension in his jaw, the slight quiver in his hands, and it mirrored my own. It was as if the room had contracted, the air thick, heavy, almost electric. His fingers grazed mine again, this time more deliberately, but pulled away the instant I thought I might respond. My heart pounded so loudly I was certain he could hear it. I wanted to pull back, to step away, but every inch of me wanted to lean into him, to feel that dangerous closeness, to surrender to the heat building between us. I caught his gaze in the reflection of the washing machine's metal drum, dark, intent, almost predatory. There was a question there, unspoken, daring me to cross a boundary I had no business approaching. My lips parted, ready to argue, ready to resist, but my body betrayed me with a shiver that ran all the way through. A bead of sweat traced the line of his temple. He brushed it away. Not with words, not with apology, just with the gentlest of touches that sent a jolt straight to my core. Every nerve in my body hummed with anticipation. I tried to focus on the mundane, the clothes, the hum of the machine, but it was impossible. He was everywhere, in every line of my vision, in every subtle brush against my skin. I faltered. My words caught in my throat, unformed. He leaned just a fraction closer, and I felt the edge of something forbidden, something that would change everything if I let it happen. The machine shook again, violently this time, and the rhythm of our closeness became almost unbearable. I could feel the heat pooling low in my belly, every inch of me wired and desperate, teetering between resistance and surrender. And then, just as my pulse threatened to betray me completely, he froze, eyes locked on mine. The air between us was taut, every molecule charged. We were on the brink. The washing machine's spin rattled beneath us, a constant, unyielding rhythm that matched the storm building inside me. He was closer than ever, so that I could feel the weight of him pressing into my back, the heat of his body radiating like fire. Every accidental or maybe intentional brush of his hand sent tremors through me. I tried to steady myself, gripping the edge of the drum, but my fingers shook. He leaned just slightly, and the faint scent of him, wood, something warm, something impossibly intimate, made my head spin. I wanted to step back, to create space, but my body betrayed me, leaning into him almost without thinking. A quiet laugh slipped from him, low and teasing, and it made my chest ache in ways I didn't want to name. He brushed a stray strand of hair from my shoulder, but the touch lingered, deliberate, drawing fire along my skin. My breath hitched. "I shouldn't," I whispered again, but the words were weak. My voice sounded foreign, small, and utterly vulnerable. His lips brushed near my ear, not touching, just close enough to make the skin prickle. "Maybe we both shouldn't," he murmured. His voice a dangerous mixture of restraint and invitation. The contrast made my heart hammer so loudly I was sure he could feel it against his chest. His hands drifted along the sides of my waist, stopping just short of crossing some invisible line. I shivered, my knees threatening to buckle. I caught his gaze in the reflection of the spinning drum. Dark, intent, dangerous. There was a question there, unspoken, daring, challenging. Every inch of the room felt electric, every breath thick and heavy. I could feel the pull, the weight of the desire pressing into me, threatening to undo all the careful control I had left. My fingers brushed his arm accidentally, but I felt his grip tighten in response, small and almost protective, yet impossibly charged. The machine shuddered violently again, the vibration crawling up my spine. I closed my eyes for just a moment, and when I opened them, he was only a fraction away, eyes dark, intent, and unyielding. It was almost unbearable, the tension between restraint and surrender. Every nerve in my body screamed for something I wasn't ready to admit. And just like that, as the room spun with heat and the machine rattled beneath us, we hovered on the edge, teetering dangerously close to something neither of us could stop. The next moment could change everything. The heat between us was unbearable. Every brush of his hand, every subtle shift of his weight pressed into me, left me trembling. My chest rose and fell with shallow breaths as if the room itself were holding its own anticipation. I wanted to lean in, to surrender to the pull between us, but just as I inched closer, the unmistakable sound of the front door creaking froze me in place. We both paused, bodies taut, like a string pulled to its breaking point. His eyes flicked toward the doorway, dark with hesitation, then back to mine, as if daring me to continue despite the intrusion. I started, but my words caught, unconvincing even to me. The hallway light spilled across the laundry room floor, and for a split second, I imagined someone standing there, watching. My pulse hammered like a drum. My breath trembled, not from shame but from desire. The thrill of almost being caught made my skin prickle, my senses sharper, every nerve in my body alive. He pressed closer behind me, just enough to shield me, the warmth of his body a dangerous promise. His hand grazed my hip again, deliberate and teasing, and my knees threatened to give out. I felt trapped between wanting to pull back and wanting to let go entirely. A sudden clatter outside the room, a dropped key, maybe, or a loose box, made me flinch. My hand brushed against his chest instinctively, and he tightened his grip on my waist, grounding me, yet the closeness was almost suffocating. Almost, he whispered, his lips near my ear. Too close to turn back now. The words sent a shiver through me, and my stomach twisted in ways I hadn't expected. I could feel the machine rattling beneath my hands, the vibrations traveling up my arms, mixing with the wild energy between us. Every small touch, his fingers brushing mine, the press of his body was amplified, electric, unavoidable. The tension coiled tighter with every passing second, like a spring about to snap. And then, as if the universe wanted to tease us further, a faint knock at the door. Someone was coming. Not immediately, but soon. The sound made the hair on my arms stand on end, and I realized we were dangerously exposed, caught between our desire and the possibility of being seen. I wanted to pull away. I wanted to run, but my body, stubborn, betrayed me. And he didn't move. He didn't hesitate. He only let the intensity hang between us, as if daring me to take the next step. Something explosive was about to happen, and neither of us could ignore it. The moment we had been circling, teetering on the edge, finally broke. The vibration of the washing machine, the heat pressed against my back, the scent of him close enough to make my head spin. It all became too much. My hands gripped the edge of the drum, knuckles white, as his fingers traced the curve of my waist with deliberate urgency. "I can't hold back," he murmured, voice low, rough with the same tension I felt coursing through me. My chest heaved, breaths jagged, and I realized I didn't want him to. I wanted every inch of his closeness, the way he filled the small space behind me, the way his presence made my knees weak. I turned slightly, catching his gaze, and in that instant the restraint we had both clung to vanished like smoke. His hand slid lower, tentative at first, then insistent, and I shivered, tilting into him without thought. Our lips almost brushed, just barely, the hint of a touch that carried the weight of everything unsaid. Every nerve in my body screamed as if warning me and urging me at the same time. The room felt impossibly small, every vibration from the washing machine magnifying the heat that pooled low in my belly. I felt him lean fully into me, and I let myself melt against him, heart hammering as if it could escape my chest. The tension, the desire, the risk, it all coalesced into something raw, unrelenting, and impossible to resist. My breath mingled with his, shallow and desperate, as our hands brushed, lingered, and finally grasped. Then, just as the air between us seemed ready to ignite, a sharp noise from outside startled us. The front door slammed, followed by hurried footsteps retreating down the hallway. We froze, hearts hammering, chests heaving. A jolt of adrenaline ran through us, but instead of breaking the spell, it somehow made everything sharper, more urgent. We stared at each other, trembling, sweat glistening on skin, and in that suspended moment, the world outside vanished. Every glance, every subtle touch, every silent shiver carried meaning we didn't need to speak aloud. The tension had reached its peak, the moment had exploded, but in that heat, in that suspended breath, there was still a lingering question. What would we do now? The washing machine hummed beneath our hands, vibrating in tandem with our racing hearts, and I realized nothing could go back to the way it was. The washing machine finally slowed, its relentless hum fading into a soft, steady vibration beneath our hands. We stayed frozen for a moment, chest to chest, foreheads almost touching, breaths mingling. The adrenaline had ebbed, leaving a quiet warmth that pressed against my skin, a weight that was both comforting and thrilling. He shifted slightly, brushing a stray lock of hair from my face. The gesture was simple, almost casual, but it carried a tenderness that made my heart thrum. I caught his gaze, and for the first time since we'd begun circling one another, there was a softness there, a shared understanding in the unspoken language of lingering touches and hesitant smiles. I didn't think it could feel like this, I admitted, voice low, shaky, but steady enough to carry the truth. He didn't answer immediately. He just rested his hand lightly against my waist, fingers curling without pressure, as if to assure me that he wasn't going anywhere. "Neither did I," he said finally, voice quiet, rough around the edges but warm. We leaned into each other, slow, deliberate, the tension from before transforming into something else entirely. Something tender, steady, human. Every glance, every micro-movement. The brush of fingers, the tilt of a chin, the faint press of shoulders, spoke louder than words ever could. I rested my forehead against his, feeling the steady beat of his pulse. He let out a slow breath, brushing his lips over mine in a fleeting, gentle kiss. It wasn't urgent, wasn't explosive. It was the quiet acknowledgement of everything we had felt, everything we had risked, and everything we were willing to explore together. The laundry room, once a place of chaotic heat, now felt intimate, almost sacred, the air thick with the memory of the moments we'd shared. Every vibration, every echo of the washing machine, seemed to hum in harmony with the lingering rhythm of our hearts. I smiled softly, fingers brushing over his hand. "We'll figure it out," I whispered, and he nodded, a quiet promise that went deeper than any words could convey. We stayed there, suspended in the warmth of proximity, letting the world outside exist without us for just a little while longer. The heat hadn't vanished. It had transformed into patience, trust, and the knowledge that we had crossed a line together that could never be erased. And as we finally pulled back just enough to meet each other's gaze, the unspoken question lingered. What would come next? Whatever it was, we would face it together.